oh, I'd love to do that, but then also I don't want to put that on the internet.
Hello and welcome to Ctrl Alt Cosplay, a podcast of general conversation and absolute tomfoolery. We're your hosts, Siobhan and Lydia, and today is a special day because it's our first ever episode of our brand new podcast.
Yay!
Yay! Round of applause. It's just us.
Yeah, it's just us, no guest.
No, testing the waters. Tell you guys what's happening, what's what. Like, what is this? Why are we here?
Yeah, are we a viable franchise? In the words of the Muppets, are we a viable franchise?
Are we? I hope so.
I hope so. If not, I will enjoy having a nice conversation with you.
Yeah.
My friend. Just us two, one-on-one.
Yeah, you can PayPal me later for that comment.
Yeah, so our little mad foray into podcasts.
Now in audio form.
In audio form. Talking about cosplay, photography, life. Yeah, just kind of everything.
We figured Ctrl Alt Cosplay would be a good name to sort of combine both our worlds, as both of us... Well, you're more of a cosplayer and I'm more of a photographer, but we've both done both. You're actively still a photographer, and I dip a toe now and again. We both dip toes.
Yes. Yeah. We're toe dippers.
Toe dippers.
There you go. You know how like podcasts have fan names for their audience?
No!
No? We don't want to call them the toe dippers?
No! I hate that so much.
Hello, my little toe dippers.
Imagine it like one of those like turkey dinos, but it's like a toe.
Oh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No. I was just thinking of like a single toe going into like a pond, or like just dipping a toe into the world of photography.
I made it cursed. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. Thank you for blessing the podcast immediately.
Yeah. So this is the kind of shit you'll expect.
I did say cosplay, photography, life, and everything else in my defense. Yes. I didn't think it would go to feet immediately, but...
Yeah, how have we done this? We're like 3 minutes into recording it and it's already gone to feet.
We're a foot podcast now, guys. Who's your favourite celebrity foot?
I don't think I could tell you what a celebrity's foot looked like.
No, I can't
apart
say.
From the classic 5 toes.
I can't think of any. Oh, I guess the feet that everyone's obsessed with at the moment are Margot Robbie's.
Are they?
Yeah, because of the Barbie trailer where she steps out of the shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, walks. Because I knew a bunch of people that have been like, oh, I'd love to do that. But then also, I don't want to put that on the internet. Like, this is such a cute trend. Wait. I see what you did here.
Yeah, this time but with socks.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
For April Fool's last year, I did like a shoe transition.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
As like a April Fool's, I'm not doing cosplay anymore, this is only about shoes. And it was like one of my most liked videos, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
I've made a huge mistake.
What side of the internet am I on?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had some of the DMs that other people have had, but I've had a few weird tights people in my comments.
Oh,
so
nice.
I think it's just part of being on the internet, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I love how one of the questions that we kind of had drafted is, how do you interact with the community? And mine was just feet. Feet. No, it's not. I'm not a foot person.
Outing yourself. Episode 1. Episode 0, whatever.
The foot episode.
That's a title, rather.
Oh. Yeah.
Don't sound too happy.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So beside shoes and cosplay, how did you get into... I was trying to make a segue and I can't.
No, it's good. Go good. I liked it. So apart from feet, what got you into cosplay?
Pretty much, yeah. Apart from your feet. How did you walk into this?
Oh,
Wait,
very
we got there. Bring us a
little sound effect that's like meh, meh, meh. Well, I dipped my toe into...
I hate it.
No. So I've always liked fancy dress. I was that kid that had a fancy dress box from like age 8 to like 16.
Do kids not have fancy dress boxes? I'm so confused.
Yeah. So I did the same route as a lot of people, which was the horse girl to pirate pipeline.
Yep.
See,
Yep.
It's a thing.
It is.
So I went horse girl to pirate, and then whilst in my pirate era, I didn't have a steampunk era, but I did go pirate. I kind of got into fancy dress, and like whenever there was an opportunity, for it to be fancy dress, I'd be like, yes. Like, my birthdays were always fancy dress. When we used to have like charity days at sixth form, I was always like, yes, I'm gonna make my own costume. I'm gonna like go all out and like do this amazing thing.
Yep.
Which wasn't amazing. It was like hot glued green material to some hot pants to be poison ivy. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I kind of like always dabbled in it, and then I've always kind of been not obsessed. I feel like that's too strong of a word, but I've always loved Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Japan when I was I 17? No, I must have been slightly older. And that's how I discovered that cosplay was a thing. And I was like, oh God, I wish I lived in Japan. And oh, I wish I could cosplay then. Like, even though the cosplay scene is super different to the UK scene,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, it's so unfair that like they get to do this and it's a whole thing. And when I came to the UK, I moved to the UK, and my aunt got me tickets to MCM London.
Oh,
I think in 2009. No, it can't have been 2009, but it was early 2000s.
must have been MCM Expo at that point.
Yes, it was MCM
Yeah,
Expo at
I
that
remember
time.
those days.
And I went with my who did I go with? Sister and Dan. We went,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't cosplay, and we went and people were cosplaying, and I was like, oh my God, it's a thing in the UK. I didn't know this. And then we had such a fun time that we then went to LSCC, London Super Comic Con, which doesn't exist
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Does it not?
Was it London Super? No, it might not have been.
There's LFCCD as well.
No, this was LS, London,
Yeah,
Super Comic
I
Con.
don't
Which,
know. There's too many.
but yeah, so after the May MCM, we were like, right, we're going to do another one. And we went to another one. And that one, I was like, we are cosplaying. And that's when we did our first kind of like crappy, my first sewn
Mm.
together cape, wig off eBay.
Oh, the good old shaken.
The shaken wear. Actually, no, I talk shit about it, but like, we all start somewhere, right?
Oh god, yeah, I used to do
And
the
there's
same.
no shame in starting with an eBay wig and a cape that you made out of £2 a meter satin,
Yeah.
because that's all I could afford and that's all I needed at the
Oh god,
time.
yeah. I think I never paid more than like £10 for a wig.
God, those were the days.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I just slowly got really into making costumes and hanging out, and so I started doing that. And then my sister, rudely, had a family and moved away and had
Wow.
children, and suddenly was
Betrayal.
like, I can't go to Comic Con, I have a life, I'm a grown up now.
Oh.
So I was
Ew.
like, well, I'm going to go by myself. So I went by myself, and because going to a con by yourself can be intimidating, and back then, I wasn't on Instagram, there wasn't really a big social presence other than like the one big Facebook group, and I'm an introvert, I'm not going to start talking to people on the internet.
Mm.
So I took my camera, because then I had an excuse to talk to people.
Ah, smart.
And so yeah, I took my camera, and I got that gave me like an into talking to people and saying, "Oh, can I take a picture of your cosplay?" And then I randomly got made the head admin of the Legend of Zelda UK
Oh
group,
my god.
and then I met some great people through that. And then I met my friends and slowly built the best friendship group I've ever had.
Yeah.
I will say it. Yeah, and then through that, I focus more on cosplay because I really, I like doing photography and I really enjoy it when it works.
Mm.
But cosplay is my first love, and as sad as it sounds, like I didn't need photography as much as I did because I then had friends and I had people to talk to, and I didn't need a camera to talk to people anymore.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And also, growing up and getting more confidence and all that kind of stuff, and realizing the world isn't that scary. You can just talk to people. They're normally quite nice. Yeah, I mean, I still do photography. I still really enjoy it. I have a love-hate relationship with photography.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
The past year, I have really got back into really enjoying it again.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if that picked Jensen up or not, but he just Scooby-Doo ran out the room, so
I can
excellent.
faintly hear him going, wow.
Yeah, he fully Scooby-Doo ran out the room. But yeah, so that's how I got to like where I started to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, started with my first, I consider my first proper cosplay. It's either Poison Ivy when I was 17, which was like sewing green stretch fabric to a corset and covering myself in ivy leaves and dyeing my hair red because wigs. Why wear a wig when you could just dye your hair?
Yeah.
Or I consider probably Link for a friend. My friend does like this really cool Halloween party every year and everyone goes all out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first year I went to his Halloween party that I made Wind Waker Link, and I just made it. I made the hat, I made everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the first one that I was like, I'm actually making this it's a costume. I know what cosplay is now, kind of thing.
The way you've come full circle and was Link for Halloween just passed as well.
That is true. Yeah, I need to do a glow up. I will
You
dig out a
do.
picture of me as Wind Waker Link in Simon's garden
Yeah.
and put it next to me as Link in Fletcher's garden.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my little roundabout story of how I got into cosplay and how I'm still into cosplay, with a little toe dipping of photography in there.
What are you working on at the moment?
Ooh,
Oh.
I'm crunching for AnimeCon, which is
Mhm.
going to date this, but I'm
Oh.
crunching for AnimeCon because the knives I made for knives disintegrated in the tank. So I needed to make a
Oh.
new pair of knives. And I was saying how stupid it is that I'm trying to Google knives is hand knives. And Google is just like, here are some knives and a hand. And I'm like, no, I need specifically knives from Trigun,
Oh my god.
hand knives. And then it just comes up with like either OG Trigun or just more knives. I'm like, no, I need the specific. Anyway, the joy of being a cosplayer, right?
Trying to find those reference photos. Like,
Yeah.
please, just a singular frame.
I'm literally just rewatching that episode in where he like it's like a slow mo bit where he pulls them out. I'm like, excellent, these frames
Yep.
saving my life. And then I am currently working on stuff for Japan. So I
Ooh.
am in. You've seen the big pink donut. That's eventually going to become a witch's hat. Sadly, it's not going to be a pink
Oh.
donut.
I thought you were doing a circle skirt really weirdly.
No, no, I'm doing a witch's hat really weirdly.
Right, okay. You can tell I don't sew because I was like, it's a circle, must be a skirt.
Yeah, I realized afterwards I could have just made a circle skirt in small scale instead of the cursed way I did do it, but it's fine. It's made now. It's a circle. I'm very excited to have shade because I'm going to have this
Mm.
big massive hat, so I'm going to make my own shade at Disneyland. I'm like, excellent.
Who are you doing?
I'm doing Witch Rapunzel.
Okay. I was trying to work out who had a witch hat.
Yes, we're doing a little witches squad because it's
Cute.
Halloween.
Oh, cute.
And then we're doing a big shoot day where we're going to focus on getting nice photos and kind of like clearing up any rides that we've missed or any parades that people really want to do.
Hmm.
But like the focus is to get like photos. And then the
Oh,
middle day is going to be a chill day where we go on all the rides, but I just can't decide what I'm wearing that day. So suggestions on a postcard, please.
oh, noted. I won't do it now because we'll be here forever.
Yeah, that was me earlier being like, what photo do you like of
Oh,
mine from the past 3 years?
God, trying to remember every photo you've taken, especially when
Uh,
like you don't post them on your socials anymore,
I don't.
which is
Um,
mind-boggling, but also fair.
yeah, that actually throws back to my Legend of Zelda days when I used to run the meets at MCM because I used to take the photos as well.
Mm.
And so instead of shouting out like a million different social medias, I'd just be like, this is my one social media. It's on Facebook and it's on Instagram. I wasn't even on Instagram back then, I was just on Facebook. So I'd be like, this is my one Facebook. All the photos will be there. And it was just the quickest way to shout to a bunch of cosplayers, like, here I am, photos will be up soon. Which I guess is a lot more difficult nowadays when there's like 8,000 different social medias that you're supposed to be on, and
Oh God,
each one
yeah.
has a different parameter of when you're meant to post and how you're supposed to post and who you're supposed to post. So
Don't. Social media algorithms are the bane of my existence at the moment.
yeah, how is it as being a photographer? Because obviously that's your job, that's your
Mm,
livelihood, and also it's what you like. I get the joy from making the cosplay and having rad photos is great, but like a lot of my enjoyment comes from wearing it and making it. Whereas as a photographer, the enjoyment you get is from people seeing your work, right?
yeah, pretty much. Obviously, like making sure that the people you're taking photos of are happy.
Mm.
That's like most important. But yeah, there is when you like I've worked so hard on this, I'm really proud of it, and then just like no one sees it. You're like, cool, thanks, love that for me. And then there are some cases where people don't realize you're the photographer,
Yeah.
and you're just like, no. Like I had someone comment on a Tumblr post going, I've really wanted to get into this character. I really want to make it. What did you use for that? How did you make that? Da, 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 da. And I had like, my dude, I just took the picture. I know some things are made of silicone and other things are 3D printed, but that's about as far as I go.
It's the biggest thing, like, tell me you didn't read the caption
Yeah.
without telling me you didn't read the caption. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll put, like, in the caption, I'll put this whole thing of, like, how I made it, or, like,
Mm,
just, or, like, what I'm feeling, or ask a question. And then there'll be someone in the comments being like, where did you buy your dress? It's like, I just wrote like 50 words about how I made this. Like, I guess because people just, like and move on and they don't really stop to read the caption, which is kind of depressing, I think, because I don't know, you don't really tend to do long captions, right? You just do, this is my photo.
Yeah, I do either a quick quote from whatever the media is, or a funny story about that shoot.
Yeah.
Who it is, what it's from. Find me on Patreon or Ko-fi.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Yeah, because it's just easy to like copy and paste those kind of things because
again, you are on like all the social medias, which I think is again a difference between doing cosplay as a hobby and doing photography as a job, is that you do have to be like on every platform, and you do have to be putting yourself out there, because you're not just a photographer, you're a photographer and a marketer and a website person and a copywriter. Like,
yeah, tell me about it. there is something like you just have to be seen to sort of be present at all times. Like I know like cosplayers obviously do like, I'm building this, like here's my work in progress, and I really enjoyed those posts and like stories and everything and following along. But I don't really, I mean, I probably could show like, here's how I edited it, but like that's just more work on top of the work I'm already doing. It's just like, here's a picture, please, just a single ounce of serotonin of you liking it, please.
That's so true though, because a cosplayer can be like, here's some wire in a shape, here's some wire with some foam. Like, that's just 3 quick photos they can take, and boom, you've got a post, you've got content.
Yep.
Photographer can't do that. They have to, and also like, there's only so many ways you can be like, here's the photo before, here's some buttons, here's the finished like, yeah, like it would just be the same 3 screenshots or whatever. So it must be really hard to think of ways to create content.
With Reels and TikTok and stuff, most people, when not everyone, most people will do, like cosplayers, will find an audio of that character and do videos to that. Like they don't have to source the audio, mix the audio. I mean, they might, but
they don't have to.
Yeah, or they'll do whatever sound is trending, and because why wouldn't you? And like, but photography audio is like, I took a picture, please like it.
I have, so because I'm the world's most organized person, you can save reels into like categories.
Yes.
So I have them saved for like character types. So I have like drama queens, I have sad boys, I have angry. Then I have stuff like transitions, and then I have stuff cons solo, and then cons with friends, so that there's like various things I can do with my friends. There are various things I can do that I can just film by myself at con. And then I have one that's called photo dump, and it's basically like, how can I do a reel of a bunch of photos and get them out quickly? And they are so much less interesting. They're so much more the same. There's so fewer of them in that one little folder, because it's so much easier to be like, hey, I'm the character, I'm doing a kooky thing, or like, oh, I'm at con, I'm doing a fun thing, than to be like, here's something I've like cried and put my blood, sweat and tears into, please look at this. Like, it's definitely a lot harder. I think it's a real shame how disparate cosplayers and photographers are, because it's a symbiotic relationship, right?
Absolutely.
We need each other. If anything, the cosplayers need photographers more, because photographers, although they might enjoy cosplay photography, they can go out and find, street models, they can go out and do animals, they can do landscape, like, they don't have to go to con and take your picture if they don't want to.
Not at all. We do it because we're statistics, that's why.
Yeah. So how did you get into cosplay photography?
Oh god.
Because I vaguely know the story of how you got into photography, but yeah, what's your journey from
my journey,
wide-eyed teen to where you are now?
God, I used to start. It started as a cosplayer back in, oh god, I was probably 17 or 18 at the time. So around the time I went to uni and stuff, like my friend was at the time was really into manga and anime, and they kind of got me into it, and I ended up spending most of my time at uni and most of my student loan on manga, as everyone does. And I was studying film at the time, so it was something to do aside from writing essays of why The Lion King is a supremacy video. Or something.
Right.
Russian
I've heard
connotations.
Lion King with Hamlet. I've not heard Lion King is fascist.
Right,
sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You not seen Be Prepared? He literally has like a hammer and sickle in the background.
No, Yep, that's valid.
Yep, that was second year of uni. We ruined the Lion King. I can't watch it without thinking about it. And I'm just like, God damn it. Yeah, so I started cosplaying and go to cons, back in the MCM Expo days. My first cosplay was Alucard from Van Helsing.
Strong choice. What a choice. I did not know. I did not know it was Alucard. I thought it was Miku. I thought it was
No,
Miku.
there are no photos of it. Thank God, because it was awful. Yeah, and my friend went as car captor Sakura, I think. She worked at a costume shop at the time, so she borrowed kind of like a maid kind of thing and
Oh
added
yeah, I
some
can see that working.
pantaloons. I don't know. We were a hot mess. Um,
Yeah.
but we had a good time. It was great. But yeah, I then
What a couple, power couple,
right.
Alucard and Card Captor Sakura.
Yeah, and then we slowly we did not couple cosplays but duos.
Mm,
So we did Shinra and Celti from Durarara, we did Sebastian Ciel, we did Miku and Gumi, the one with green hair.
right.
I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I was Miku, that's all I remember. I had that bloody long wig.
Oh
Ugh.
yeah.
Back in the days before people knew how to preserve them and it just got rat's tailed.
You say I haven't killed my Miku wig 3 times now.
True, you did put it in the tank.
And a puddle.
Yeah.
And then the tank again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the puddle.
That killed it more than anything else did.
Yeah, so I kind of was doing that through uni, and then I kind of finished uni and went, I don't want to be a film director anymore. It means working with people. Because I don't know why. They thought it's a great idea. You go to uni and you want to study film and you have to make films, obviously. Or shorts. But you put so many like-minded, I want to be the director people working on a project, so naturally they're going to butt heads.
Right,
Because they
yeah.
all want to be the big cheese.
Yeah, everybody wants to be the director, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, no.
Yeah, no, can you just do sound design, please? No. And it's oh. So yeah, I sort of went, I don't want to do that. So I kind of took a year to kind of stare at the ceiling, kind of going, what am I doing with myself? As most grads do.
Mm.
And then because I was dabbling with photography during uni is again something to do back in the good old DeviantArt days. And I sort of went, oh, what if I get a camera and actually try and do that? And then maybe, because I'd seen cosplay photographers at cons, I was like, maybe I could do that instead because I can't really afford to buy cosplay. So I convinced my dad to buy me my first camera, like a professional camera, while I was working in a pub. And I was like, I will pay you back £50 a month
Mhm.
until I pay it off. And he was like, all right, okay. And I did actually end up paying him off eventually.
That was gonna be my next question. We're like, did you?
Oh yeah, I did. And then I sort of went to my first con and then had that kind of oh, I now need to talk to people. But thankfully, this was the time where I was getting into Japanese fashion and sort of that subculture from cosplay. And I had lots of friends in the Japanese fashion, so I would go on shoots with them, and it'd be a mixture of Harajuku street fashion and Lolita and cosplay. So it kind of snowballed from there, and then it's 7 years later, and here we are.
Wow. Now it's been 7 years.
Not to age myself, on episode 1, but yeah.
I mean, I did by saying MCM Expo.
Yeah, same.
But I remember when I first got Instagram, which was very late to everybody else getting Instagram, but trying to hashtag MCM, be like MCM London, MCM LDN, MCM Expo, MCM Comic Con. I'm like, just use one hashtag. Why was it so hard?
God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because is it MCM Expo? Is it London Expo? Is it London Comic Con? Just.
And then it's MCM 2020 whatever.
Yeah, then you have to do the one with and then it's MCM London 2020
whatever.
Yeah,
09 or whatever.
Oh god. At least MCM Birmingham is MCM Birmingham, MCM Brum. Those are two, and I don't think that many people use MCM Brum, to be honest.
I've never been, so I've not used either.
Oh, I forgot you never been to Brum.
I've never.
Please come to Brum.
I want to when they eventually
if they
announce
ever
the dates.
yeah, this will date the episode as well. But at the moment we're still waiting for Brum dates, and I'm gonna be very sad if they just get rid of it, because I think they will.
Yeah, there's rumours.
It's how they quietly got rid of Telford. It's how they quietly got rid of Scotland.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they were just dates are coming, and then it got really, really close, and people were like, is there going to be MCM Telford? And they were like, no, and it's oh, and then same with Scotland, they were like, dates are, yeah, they're going to get announced, and then it got closer and closer, there were no dates, and it was we're just doing London and Birmingham.
Oh, they're bitch, you thought.
Yes, I feel I don't know. I'm not holding out hope. I've got materials to make my Friday cosplay, and I'm like, I'm not buying them until
Mm.
that date is confirmed.
Yeah, hopefully soon. So people get it, because that's the thing. People need to start making stuff and start planning, booking
Yeah,
hotels, and
yeah, it's the hotels, I think. And then they announced that they're doing some kind of qualifiers, some kind of cosplay qualifiers at Birmingham.
oh, okay.
So everyone's been like, cool, when are the dates? And they just haven't said anything.
Oh, weird.
So yeah, I don't know. It's all a little bit up in the air, and I think
Mm.
that's true of cons at the moment anyway, because MegaCon is up and coming. Everyone's mad at MCM, and I'm gutted that I'm missing SecretCon this year because I'm so excited for the location.
Yeah, location does look good.
But yeah, the con scene has changed drastically since when I started.
So much bigger.
Yeah, like MCM, I remember going and thinking, wow, this is massive. This is two halls of the XL. And yeah, and now it's like, oh no, it's the whole of the XL, and it's 4 days, and it's insane. And I think COVID killed off a lot of the small local cons,
Yeah.
which is a shame.
Yeah, I don't think my town's having
Because there used to be
a
like
con.
Alton, this is going to show where I live, but like there used to be Alton and Guildford and Didcot and
Yeah.
Oxford and Reading.
Oh yeah, Reading's gone. Because we were all planning to go there, and then it was like, nope.
Yeah, all of those have gone. There was some more around Alton. I mean, some of it, like Portsmouth still happens,
Hmm.
and what's the other one that's down there? Brighton happened recently.
Yep.
So they are still happening, but they're very different, I think, because they're not just cosplay focused. They're very much old school with like collectors and like Daleks and
Yeah.
kind
The
of
true nerds. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, yeah. It's less mainstream, for sure,
Mm.
and they're obviously a lot smaller.
Yeah, because obviously you got like LFCC, which is London Film, which is all about meeting your TV hero kind of thing.
Mm.
I think
Have you ever been to LFCC?
long time ago.
Yeah, I went back when it was in oh, where was it?
I went when it was near the graveyard.
No, I went the year that it was in was it Docks?
Oh yeah.
It was hell. It was too hot. It was in the middle of nowhere, and it was their first. I think it was their first year in that location, and it was just really poorly done,
Mm.
which is a real shame. But it really like ruined my experience, and we had to leave early because my sister had like a massive migraine. I got creeped on for the first time in my life ever by some
Ew.
random guy. So yeah, we ended up leaving. I mean, that's not their fault. That's not the con's fault.
No, it is. No, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
They gave her. They set this man upon you.
Yeah. Yes, it was a real shame that it was that's been my only experience of it. And I actually really liked the young adult literature part of it.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
I wish we just stayed in that bit because that bit was actually really like chill and it was like talking to nice people. But yeah, it was just so busy and it was unlike a con I'd been to before.
Mm.
Because again, there isn't really a lot of panels or cosplay opportunities in the same way that there are at MCM, I think.
Yeah, it's just stalls. And meet and
Yeah,
greet.
it's stalls and it's guests, which are like the two things that I just don't. Well, no, I love stalls actually, but no, like I like art and like
Mm.
yeah, I like Artist Alley more than like tiny Star Wars figures.
True.
No, like no shade, like
No,
like
no,
always,
no. I get
that
it.
came across a bit shady, but like no, like if that's what the smaller cons are into, and like
Mm.
sometimes you can get great stuff, but like
Yeah, it just depends what your. I was gonna say what your bias is, but
yeah.
like.
I went to EGX Resd one of the first years they did
Oh
Resd
yeah.
in London, and that was great. That was a really good con.
I've always wanted to go to EGX.
Yeah, I had a really good time at Res because it was just really chill. It was kind of it was Res, so it's not the big EGX. It's like the small one they used to do. I don't think they do it anymore. And there was like hardly any cosplayers at all because obviously everyone's just there for video games. And I was there with Elsa of all people. But no, we had a really good time. We played a load of video games. Like we walked around. We didn't do any photography, but it was just a really nice, chilled time. And because cosplay was so few and far between, anytime I saw any cosplayer, they were like immediately, right, we're best friends, like let's just talk and have a whole conversation.
Mm, I love that.
So that was really nice because again, I have trouble approaching people, so like having that immediate in of being like, oh, I'm also in a silly costume, like quick, let's talk. So yeah, I really liked EGX Res, but yeah, I don't think it still happens. I would love to go to EGX properly though.
Yeah, we should have a look into that because I'd quite like to go.
Yeah, they don't. I just googled. They don't do Res anymore.
Well, rip.
Oh, I'm. It's the 12th to the 15th of October.
Ooh. Oh, are you in?
I think I'm just back from Japan.
Well, let's squeeze in.
Yeah, it's the weekend after I get back from
Oh my
Japan.
god.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's not a no.
I'm like the kombucha woman, like, I love that woman. I've been saying it since last year, but I really want to go to more cons, different cons. I mean, I fell out of love with MCM May in particular a few years ago. So I've always been looking for like the next con to go to, but the issue is that everyone still loves MCM. So it's really hard to be like,
Yeah.
hey, we should all go to Germany to dock me. I know VNCom was like kind of on the list and Alfia, so
There's so many cons abroad as well.
yeah. How do you I have a question for you.
Go for it.
How do you because you used to cosplay, right? And now
Yes.
you go to cons as a photographer.
hmm
What's it like? What's the difference between going? I mean, well, sorry, I have a question for you.
Well, one's in a costume and one isn't.
So my question is: you've been a cosplayer,
Mhm.
you are a photographer, and you have recently attended a con as a civilian, as a normal person.
Yeah.
So, how do each of those experiences differ from being a cosplayer, from being a photographer, and then being just, Siobhan?
Oh, do you know it's the first con I've really been to as a civilian? It's very odd.
Yeah.
But as a cosplayer, obviously, like you find people who are into the same franchise, and you share that. You like, they're like instant best friends. And like you also share this interest, therefore
Mm.
friend.
Yeah.
And you kind of adopt people in the same franchise, and you bump into them, and you make that kind of connection. And that was something that is quite lovely.
Mm.
And you don't get that not in cosplay because obviously, yeah, I could wear like a shirt with I don't know Tony Stark on it or whatever. And people be like, "Oh, Avengers, lol," but that's kind of it.
Yeah, you might be a huge fan, or you might just be a person in a t-shirt.
Yeah, like I used to wear a Freddy Krueger top, and people are like, "Oh, you don't know who this man is?" I'm like, yes, I do." Uh, so shut up. Um, but yeah, but as a civilian, there was just no stress. I could just come and go as I please. I sort of disappeared into the crowd. Like no one's looking at me because I'm not dressed like I don't know Princess Peach or whatever. Not that I would ever cosplay Princess Peach. But you know what I mean? Like you're not being looked at for your cosplay.
Yeah, or the fact you have a camera around your neck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's none of that weird like hovering with intent of please shoot with me, and I'm like, you didn't book with me, so bugger off. I don't say that to people's faces, but I hope my look conveys of no.
Wow, show photography getting
Yeah,
cancelled.
no, because well, yeah, this is the thing. Like, not every tog books, but most of us did or have. And like, I've done cons where I've literally from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and had about an hour's break total,
Yeah,
and I'm booked.
that's too
And then
much.
I would try and squeeze people in if people are running late or whatever. And it's just like, no, random person I don't know in a costume I've never seen before.
Yeah. I have to say that is something I've noticed. I know you haven't fully answered the question yet, but that is something I've noticed that the last year, I would say, not even last year, the last few months, I've definitely noticed a lot of photographers either getting burnt out or just being like, you
Mm,
know what, I'm only shooting what I want to shoot now.
yeah,
If that makes me the bad guy, then I'm the bad guy. I have definitely noticed a lot of photographers becoming a lot more vocal about that,
which is
which I
good.
think is a good thing because they need to set boundaries and expectations. Well, they need to set boundaries and manage expectations in a way that I don't think previously photographers were like, oh, they just said yes to everybody because
Yeah,
that was what you had to do because
yeah.
otherwise, like you get cancelled.
Yeah, that was what I was just gonna say. Like there was a thing where you just kind of it doesn't matter who it is or what they're cosplaying, you kind of say yes
Mm.
because that's what you're kind of expected. Like most, people I know and I've done it before. Like, oh, my slots are open. It's first come first serve, rather than the people I want to work with and the costumes I'm excited to see. Like I remember doing one con and I think I shot about 6 Harley Quinns in one day, and I was like, I'm
Oof.
done.
Yeah.
Like I don't. If I see another Harley Quinn, I'm going to scream. Thankfully, they were all different versions.
But still, there's only so many ways to shoot that character.
Exactly. And I'm just like, please. Some have a Joker and some don't, and some have a prop, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, just go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was kind of a thing of like, yes to everything as much as possible, and to get out as much work. It was a way of sort of getting your work out there as well, of just trying to cover as many bases as possible.
Mm.
Like, if I shoot anime, then the anime people will notice me, and then if I shoot superheroes, then the superhero people will notice me. If I go to the Disney meet, then the Disney people will like. It's all very like there.
Because I feel like that, for me anyway, personally, that hurts me more
Mm,
because whenever I post on my social media, this is just personal story, but whenever I post Disney, I always get a spike in followers, and then as soon as I post anime, I lose so many more than I've gained. And I'm like, I clearly don't just cosplay Disney. Like, please don't follow me off of one photo.
Yeah.
Like, fine. But it's so soul destroying when, you think, oh yeah, I've had a good week. And I know we all say that numbers don't matter, but it is nice to know that you're appreciated.
Mm.
And numbers don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But it is nice to know that, the number graph goes up is always nice.
Oh yeah, graph going up is always nicer than graph going down.
So yeah, it's kind of disappointing when, like, it's like you said, when you post something that you love and worked really hard on, and you think, oh, this photo is incredible, and then you post it, and all the Disney people, I mean, it's not just Disney people, but all the people are suddenly like, oh no, I don't like that. I'm going to unfollow you. And it's like, yeah, but I'm going to post Disney again in a week. Like, where
Yeah.
are you going?
But you must have the same thing of like, I've spent 30 hours sewing this bodice. Like, please appreciate it. And then it's like, here's the thing I bought from Miko and shoved on in an afternoon.
Yeah. So my Mikote from Final Fantasy 14, I've made that from scratch, all of it.
Wow.
The wig, I put wefts into the wig, I made the tail, I did like all the leg, I made all of it bar the shoes.
Wow.
I took it to America and I shot it in America, and every time I post it, and those photos are stunning, and every time I post it, it's like 4 people have liked this, and it's like,
Aww.
why does it do so poorly when, like you said, like a shake and go, cursed, dumb idea,
Yeah.
everyone's like, wow, groundbreaking, iconic. I'm like, no, my poor cat girl, she just wants to be loved.
And yet there's so many Final Fantasy fans out there.
Yeah, I think it's because I just don't post a lot, and so they just don't follow me. I think
It's the same with like photography. We're talking about like posting variety. Like, it's weird because I think it probably not as much now, but back in a few years ago, photography was like shoot everything you can, get your hands on that kind of cosplayer and stuff, and not literally. Jesus, don't realize
no,
what I said.
Cancelled.
You see that, and I'm not talking about shooting people with like high numbers or anything. I'm just like that costume's like really cool or trending or whatever, and you try and do everything, and yet you look at any YouTuber or social media guru, and they're just like, find your niche. And like cosplay on its own isn't a niche. Like if I turned into the My Hero cosplay photographer, then maybe would it do better? I don't know. Like,
I think you would, because I think that's how some of these accounts get massive numbers, and it's because they're known for doing that one cosplay.
Yeah, which I think is why photographers now are going, I'm only going to shoot DC because that's what interests me.
But then I do think that it is a double-edged sword. I know of a cosplayer that used to cosplay one really big anime fandom, and they're now branching out and doing other stuff, and they're really enjoying what they're doing. But they are literally watching their numbers fall. And it's because they don't cosplay that character anymore. And it's like, they might go back to it. You don't know. Like, the series hasn't ended. Like, they still have loads more to do. They still love that series.
Yeah.
And so they were saying on their story recently, like, this sucks, but, like, I've got to do what makes me happy. And yeah, I guess it's good for building followers, but... And do you know what? You're allowed to create your own online space, I guess, but... I get very easily overwhelmed on social media, which is why I only follow people I know personally. And then I stalk hashtags. And I'm just always checking in. I'm always just looking. I'm lurking always.
She's lurking.
I'm always lurking.
Even now.
But I would never, I can't think of the last time I unfollowed somebody. And if I did unfollow somebody, it would be because they've quit cosplay. They're gone. I know Nat was on her Instagram the other day, and somebody had just completely rebranded their account. And they don't do cosplay anymore, and it was just pictures of their kids and going for a cappuccino, and
White girl
and she was
Instagram.
who is this person I'm following? Because they no word if they've been bye guys, my cosplay journey's over. It was just bam, here's a coffee, out of nowhere.
Wow. I think I did a mass sort of culling at the beginning of the new year, and that was just removing bots and dead accounts. So it wasn't
I do remove bots, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to clear them out. It's just this doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
I think in the end of the day, you do have to do what makes you happy. Like, this one reason I went to con as a civilian was to just exist in that space in a less stressed manner than I have done in the past, because the year before, I remember saying, I was talking to Fletcher on Discord, and it was kind of just don't let me do this again. Because they heard in real time the stress of editing, which not many people get to hear.
Yeah.
It's usually just, you see a photographer at con, they do the shoots, and then they kind of go quiet for a bit, and then you see photos come out. Like, it's kind of how we gotta operate. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they got to see it in real time. It was like, oh, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I think it is, like I said, I think with the photographers setting boundaries, I know a few photographers have like come out and said stuff on their stories about, like how much work they do and how much their gear costs and stuff like that. And I think for a lot of new cosplayers, maybe they're just not aware
Yeah.
of how much actually goes into photography. And we've all had people being like, oh, when I used to shoot the groups that I used to shoot, obviously they would be normally the last thing I'd edit because it's a massive group, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of editing at all. It's mostly just sorting out the color, putting a watermark on it, making sure it's a decent photo. Make sure it's not wonky and everyone's got their eyes open. But I still do them last because it's just a meat. And so I used to get chased a little bit, and it'd be like, it's been like 3 weeks, and I realized that you want photos from the meet. But, like,
Yeah.
I have a whole backlog of people that are waiting.
Yeah, here's the list, and this is where you are.
Yeah, and I normally edit chronologically. So like normally the Zelda meet would be on the Sunday, so it would be the last thing that I
Yeah,
would do.
absolutely.
And like I love the Zelda meet, but it's very involved, and we do lots of different photos. It's not, I say like it's big group meet, but like it's not just one big group photo and then we're done. We do like smaller and like duos
Yeah.
and whatever. So there is still work there, and I don't mind people chasing me for photos if it's been a couple of weeks, because I will just be like, I'm working on it.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a week where it's just like people are popping up, and I'm like, is
If
there?
it's like the next day, I'm like,
Oh,
sit down. But if it's been a couple of weeks and no one said anything, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. You're like, obviously, you come to the meet, you don't know what to expect. You're
yeah.
new.
Yeah, I think quickest I've had is the same day.
That's mad. That's actually mad.
Yeah, I don't think, like, I think it was like the Saturday of a con.
On a con
Yeah,
day?
yeah, yeah. This is like at MCM. I can't remember if it's October or May or whatever. And I remember standing outside talking to someone. Obviously, I check my phone to keep an eye on where people are and stuff. And I saw a message pop up, and it was like, "Oh, I just, hey, lovely to shoot with you today. Just wondering when the photos will be ready." And I'm like, "I'm still at the convention. I don't get home till Monday
Yeesh.
afternoon. Like, what?"
Even if you want to be like, if you want to know a timeline, I feel like there's better ways to ask
Yeah,
that.
I think that's what they meant. But I was just like, I've not even got to the back to the hotel or had dinner, or I've still got my camera in my hand, and I'm stood talking to
Yeah, I
friends.
feel like you could. There are better ways to
Yeah,
ask. Hey, what's your time frame for photos? Like,
yeah. Which they could have asked in
yeah,
person.
giving them the benefit of the doubt, very
Yeah.
heavily benefit of the doubt now, but like,
But then part of me's like, to the bottom of the list you go. Which I do. I still do that. I still hold to it. People are like, oh, you
yeah,
can't do that. I'm like, oh, fuck, I can. What are they going to
I
do?
am never asking you where my photos are.
Right? It does stop people asking because, like, if I keep saying, like, oh, I just put you to the bottom of the list, they're like, what? I'm like, you haven't paid for them. You're going to the
Yeah,
bottom of the
that's the
list.
other thing. Like, if it's a paid shoot, fair
Oh,
enough.
God, yeah. They,
Like,
they get more priority.
yeah, when it's a free shoot at a con
Yeah.
where you've also shot like 20 billion other
Yeah.
people,
Bottom of the list you go.
yeah.
But this one good thing about doing proof sheets now is people pick and choose what photos they are, and like you say, people with big groups, so they have chosen more photos. I still do those last. So anyone with like 3 pictures will probably get
Mm.
them quicker.
How have you found doing proof sheets changes how you work and things like that?
Oh, it saves so much time on decision making
Yeah,
because the proof sheet that I give to people, like you've had several proof sheets from me, all the photos in the proof sheets of one I've gone, yeah, that's good. I'd happily edit that.
right.
So if I give you like 90 pictures to choose from, I've gone, yeah, I don't mind these. Which back in the day, I probably would have given you all of them.
Yeah.
Because that's what people used to do, is just give every single good one. And I still know togs who do that. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this to yourself?
I mean, I still do that.
I know you do. Why are you
I'm
doing
getting
this?
better. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Now I try and keep to like 20 to 30.
Oh my God. See, this is where I do like, you can have 6. And they're like, oh, okay. I did one,
Yeah.
I did a con where it was late. And I was like, I'm throwing out how many photos you can choose. Just choose whatever. And some people chose like, instead of, I think I'd quoted like 5. I was
Mm.
like, no, this is taking me too long. Just choose whatever. Some people chose like 7 or 8, and some people just chose like 2 or 3. And I'm like, you've actually chosen less,
Yeah.
which is better in my eyes. But like, fair enough if that's how many you want. Instead of like
Yeah.
the 5 that I originally said.
I hate it when a tog is like, just pick how many you want. Because I've shot with togs before and they're just like, however many. And I'm like, 6? 12, like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I shot with Sank and we did Tinkerbell, and I always loved shooting Tinkerbell. And we were in the McDonald's afterwards, and I was going through the photos, and he was like, pick how many you want, and I was like, okay, I've gone through, I've picked them, and he was like, you could pick more, and I was like, more? Because I'd picked like 14 or 15, and I was like, more, and he was like, yeah. I was like, oh my god, I have to go through again, like, I'm not ready for this.
Oh my god.
I mean, I'm very glad I had that many photos.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I felt bad, like, so many photos.
Yeah, because the more photos you have, the more work it is. Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the more retouching, the more composites, the more
It's a lot more
XYZ,
work.
more color
And those
grading.
photos are gorgeous, so I'm
They
very
are,
glad that I got so many, but yeah, it just made me laugh.
yeah.
I felt like, was it Oliver Twist? More?
More? You want more? Oh my god!
Yeah.
What a reference!
That's right. I'm here with all the strong
All
references.
the up to date modern day references, like Oliver
Yeah. You want some
Twist.
Oliver Twist? You want some Muppets? Actually, no, the Muppets are relevant.
Muppets would
Yeah,
never not be relevant. Come on, especially when we've
exactly.
got Colbert as a friend.
Oh my god, exactly. I'm sad that our cursed Shrek plans will not be happening now, but
Oh yeah, I forgot. We should just do it anyway.
yeah, we'll find another
Halloween,
reason.
let's go.
Oh my god. I am glad that I didn't hubris buy my Farquaad costume already, though. So
Oh my god, you're like, what do I do with this now?
yeah, well, that's what's tell it to the bear mascot suit in my garage.
What was the bear for?
It was for MCM Brum, and then COVID happened,
Oh,
so I've never worn it to a con. I've only ever worn it to my nephew's birthday.
oh my god, what was the character?
It's Kumamon.
Oh right, okay. I was thinking like a grizzly bear. I was like, what the fuck?
No, he's the mascot for Kumamoto in Japan, and I
Yeah,
love him. And I just thought it'd be really funny to wear him to a con.
I'll be so warm though.
Oh yeah, it's the worst thing in the world to wear. As you know, I'm now entering my cursed era.
Love that for you.
Yeah. So
I can't wait for your cursed era. I'm
I
like, I'm ready to
want to
see.
be a fraction of how cool Becky Dreamer is and how cursed they are. I will be very happy.
Whenever I think they've reached a limit.
Whenever I think there's no way they
Yeah.
can beat this, and then they do Mr. Blobby.
Don't. It, like, oh god, I'm so glad they went to the Fox with that because childhood trauma with Mr. Blobby would not have been a good mix. Like Fletcher had to warn me, like, by the way, this is happening, but we're not gonna go near it. And I was like, okay, but it might be on for Instagram. I was like, I hate this.
Oh, that's what I want. I want people to say that about me.
Yeah, when the childhood trauma phobias come back out, you've
Yeah.
done good.
I'm ready to make people cry on Sunday. That's my main goal for
Are
Anime Con.
you doing the one you shot with Cosdog?
Yes, I am.
Oh, no spoilers here.
Yes. Well, there will be spoilers on Sunday because I can't. Yeah,
Well,
but no, I'm
oh yeah,
looking
this
forward.
episode will be out by then, so meh.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I was happy with my making people cry last Sunday. Yeah, time is weird.
Time is a soup. Um,
Time is a soup.
time is a soup, and
Yeah.
lasagna is a cake, and you can't change my mind.
Oh my god, I'm not. No, we cannot go into whether or not Yorkshire puddings are roasted or not. Honestly, I got no work done that day because everyone was just in my DMs being like, technically they're fried. And I was
Oh
like,
my,
don't even.
oh
Don't
wow.
even. Yeah, I had people saying they're fried, I had people coming in being like they're baked, there's people saying they're roasted. Absolute carnage, my DMs that day.
The fact that we even asked someone from Yorkshire, and still the conversation was carrying on.
Yeah. People
Yeah.
people got real mad about it.
People have opinions about food, like.
Yeah. I remember when I did Rumor 101 with Eddie
Mhm.
and we did a food category. It was on with Acoustica.
Oh yeah.
And I put Italian food in, and everyone was so mad about it. And I was like, I stand by it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Italian food is overrated. I'm gonna get myself cancelled on this podcast, but
Yep. Yeah, just why not?
because the example that he gave that somebody else put in for food was chocolate ice cream, and I was like, yeah, they're valid. Chocolate ice cream's rubbish.
Yeah, I can take or leave chocolate ice cream if there's other choices, but it's
It's
still
when
good.
you get the little what's it called? It the trio special. I forgot. It's got a name.
Neapolitan. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pink strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate's always the last to go because it's rubbish.
No. Strawberry's always the last to go.
Absolutely not. Strawberry is the first to go. Strawberry is the best.
I like vanilla.
It's such a weird artificial strawberry. It's
It is,
incredible.
yeah.
It's
True.
great. We've massively spiraled onto food now, but
I mean, we
yeah,
start with feet, and so, you know.
ended on food.
Yeah. To feet, from feet to food. So.
That could be our tagline: from feet to food.
No!
No, you don't like that. Control Alt Cosplay from feet
feet
to
to food.
food.
Oh. Why does it have a ring to it, though?
Yeah, it does.
I hate
It
it.
really do.
Oh,
Um,
God.
okay, I'm gonna finish on one final question for you.
Go on, then.
Because this is our pilot, very special episode of the podcast.
Woo-hoo.
What are you looking forward to? Like, what is your, like, what do you want to see happen on the podcast?
Oh, on the podcast. It was like, what, in general?
In
Like,
life.
in life. Oh, God. It's too deep on a Thursday to go into that. Jesus Christ.
No, I was going to say, like, I don't know, yeah, who'd be a dream guest? Or, like, what would be a dream conversation? Or, yeah, like, what do you want for the podcast? And be like, yeah, this was a good podcast.
Oh, my God. God, now you've got me thinking. Because I've seen what, mainly focused around the cosplay and photography kind of sphere of nerddom. I don't know what I was trying to say there. That era. Sphere of nerddom. You're welcome. I would love to pick Martin Wong's brain. He's a cosplay photographer from the States. And his work has always been like, when I started out as a newbie photographer, he was already like top tier. And he's still getting better and still doing amazing work. And he works with some amazing people. And it's just like, I want to hear stories.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool. What about you?
I think similar. Like, I'd like a dream guest. I think would be somebody who's not in the UK scene. I think it'd be really fun to hear like different perspectives from around the world.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting to branch out and just talk to other people and see how they got into cosplay and how it shaped their life. And I like hearing stories behind things. So like, yeah, no, I like hearing stories about people and how they, what makes them tick and things like that. So, but I think for me to be like, yeah, we've got a great podcast here, I think it would be people approaching us and being like, I want to be on this podcast. I want to tell you about this thing.
I think if we're ever out and about, like either at a con or just like in London or out on the street or whatever, and someone goes, "Hey, you guys do that podcast? Like, it's great," or whatever.
I feel like that'd be insane,
right? I'd probably just cease to function.
I can't imagine it ever happening.
No, but that would be really cool. I mean, I had someone run up to me at MCM one year, and they were like, "Oh my god, you're your photography," and I was like, "Yeah." Like, he sprinted across the hall.
Oh my god.
I was coming out the food court and he just like sprinted over, and I was standing next to a friend at the time and they're like, "Do you know him?" And I was like, "No."
That's cool. Yeah,
like something like that would be.
I've had it a few times where people have like recognised my handle and been like, "Oh, you're selling me designs," and I have no idea what to do. I'm just like, "Yep, bye."
You're like,
cease to function. So I'm sorry if anyone's ever come to meet me and I'm really awkward.
Also
it's just
same.
I don't know how to talk to people. I will always remember what was it Vaughn the Dead said?
Yeah.
That will stick with me forever because it killed me when they said that I look really professional online and I'm actually really chaotic in person. And I was like, you know what? It's true. You shouldn't say it, but it's true.
Yep. It's very true. I feel like one thing I'd love to have with this podcast as well is just people being themselves as well and having that space to feel comfortable and talk about, obviously we're not going to go into politics and shit like that. I assume not.
No.
Unless it's The Lion King. But yeah, just having that safe space for people to sort of tell their story and speak into the void that is the internet. Yeah,
a platform for people to talk about their life and not just cosplay. I mean, that's the common thread between us, either cosplay or photography, but it's not what defines us. It's just a part of who we are.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Ended on a deep note. Started on feet, ended on deep.
That is the title.
Thanks for listening. This has been the pilot episode of Ctrl Alt Cosplay, and I have been Lydia.
And I've been Siobhan.
And we haven't had a guest this week, but we will have a guest next week. So in lieu of that, I'm going to ask Sib our little weekly question, which
Ooh.
is, if you could name one thing to Control Alt Delete,
Mm.
what would you delete?
Ooh, are we doing this from the cosplay community, or are we doing this in life in general?
Dealer's choice.
Ooh, do I want to get cancelled on the first
You
episode?
gotta leave that in.
I'm gonna go for the cosplay community, and if Eddie's listening, he's gonna know exactly what I'm about to say, and it's those fucking grey walls.
That is a great Control Alt Delete.
Delete it.
Um,
Drag drop in the bin.
Yep.
Wow,
Gone.
that's tagline.
Drag drop in the bin. Yeah, that is a great
That's
great
good.
tagline. You can find Sib at Shield Photography, and you can find me at Celery Moon Designs. You can find the podcast Control Alt Cos on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Tumblr. You can listen to the podcast at Control Alt Cos on Spotify and YouTube, or ad-free on Patreon. On the next podcast, our guest will be Dame Deadly, and that will be coming out on the 15th of July, which is also my birthday. So enjoy this sneak peek, and we will see you very soon.
Goodbye.
Bye!
I think that's probably why we do cosplay, isn't it? Is that not why we find characters we love and then we use it to better ourselves? That's probably too deep. Some people do just like being a bunny boy.
Oh god.
Oh, it's just really cool. No.
Yeah, some people just love cat girls, but like,
Yeah, can't relate.
True.
but I'd like to think those cat girls are making the world a better place.
One by one.